Welcome to the USC College of Pharmacy podcast. I'm Margaret Gregory, your host, and I'm pleased to have with us Jody Chastain, President and CEO of Ritedose Corporation. Jody, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me, Margaret.
I'd like to start by having you share a little bit of your background with us. Talk about where you're from. I understand you're a native South Carolinian.
Yes, ma'am, I am. Yeah, so it's a great question. So I was born and raised in South Carolina, actually in the upstate right near Clemson, and a little small town called Liberty, South Carolina. Population probably 5,000. Grew up on Mill Hill up there. As in yesteryear when everyone's out playing until dark. That's how I grew up. I met my sweetheart wife now of almost 30 years back in 1994.
Better get that date right.
Yeah, 1994 is when we met. Was married quickly after, right, in 1995, so celebrating 30 years. But we both decided to start work in our professional careers at Fuji Photo Film in Greenwood, South Carolina. So that's the North American headquarters, which now I think is unfortunately has almost closed down, but during the time it was huge, right, for South Carolina. And we stayed there about 10 years. And as the digital technology started coming on faster and faster, I went home one day and I said, you know what, I don't know that this Titanic can move so fast. We can't turn it so fast. So I thought, since both incomes were at one place, we better diversify income. Life sciences really spoke to me. I really have always loved manufacturing and supply chain and efficiencies, but to be able to create something and produce something that had a meaningful impact was something that I really wanted to get into. And I joined the team here at what was then Holopack International in 2005.
You mentioned that you had an interest in life sciences. How did you combine that with a business approach to what you're doing now?
It's interesting because when I worked at Fujifilm, I started there as an engineering technician, sort of an apprentice, right, as I was still finishing my degree. As I really leaned into the business aspect of Fuji, I started to get involved more in like operational planning and supply chain. But what was interesting is for 10 years, I was also inundated with the Japanese quality system, right, which is what they're so well known for. And when I came here at Holopack, which is now Ritedose, even during the interview, I could see the blow-fill seal technology and how it was so efficient of a process. And I could also see maybe some shortcomings of how I thought that the Japanese quality system could make an impact, right, in efficiencies. And, when I got here, I came in as a materials manager. So I was really over the procurement and planning processes. And I was able to make significant changes just applying the business learnings from supply chain and operations that I had learned at Fuji for 10 years, and made significant changes in efficiency, scheduling, and over the years have just been extremely blessed to be able to move up through the organization, never having set my sights, obviously, to be CEO.
Ritedose is celebrating 30 years this year in Columbia. Talk a little bit about what Ritedose does and how it serves the community.
Oftentimes, we just click off the years off of a calendar and we don't celebrate it enough, right? But 30 years is just a momentous occasion for us. When we started, we were 11 employees with about 25,000 square foot. And we had a capacity of about 40 million doses a year of really making saline solution and blow-fill seal vials. And fast forward, in 30 years, we've come a long way. It's been a long time, but we've come a long way. And, today we're sitting with a capacity of 2.8 billion doses annually. This year we'll manufacture about 1.6 billion of those.
That's significant growth.
Enormous growth. It's an enormous responsibility for the products that we manufacture are mostly used for maintenance of COPD and asthma, as well as dry eye disease. So the maintenance style drugs, obviously, typically when a patient goes on them, they don't really come off of them. So not only is a tremendous responsibility to serve the patients, but it's also one that we take so much pride in. We've grown from 11 employees up to now we're right at 600 employees. And we'll actually just around the corner, probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks, be opening our next phase, our next building, which will come online in April. And that'll be an additional 225,000 square feet. So it'll push us right over 500,000 square feet under roof. Quite the journey.
Ritedose has been so supportive of the College of Pharmacy over the past years. Talk a little bit about why you provide a graduate level scholarship to the college, and why is that an important initiative for Ritedose and for you?
I think that the college and Ritedose shares a lot of the same values, right, and missions. And one of our core missions and core values is to honor the patient. And for us, when we think about partnering with the College of Pharmacy, we know that they're there to honor the patient. And the graduates that we see and that we sponsor, every one of them has an innate desire to honor the patient, whether it be that they go into academia, whether they decide to go into industry where they're actually servicing a patient at a frontline retail pharmacy, which is so important and overlooked, or they come into industry like us where they're actually helping develop the next drug for the next disease state. And so since we share so much of the same common DNA, we really feel like it's where we want to put our scholarship dollars.
What advice do you have for both pharmacy and for graduate students about preparing for a future in the pharmacy profession, as you mentioned, whether it be in independent and community pharmacy or in a clinical setting or in industry?
I think that from a pharmacist perspective, and from a student, if I would give feedback to that student, I would say, first and foremost, do what you love. That's what drives me every single day. I love creating, I love leading, I love servant leadership. And for a pharmacist, I can feel when I talk to the graduates before that we've sat and we've had those dinners with, it fills my heart every time, because you can tell in their eyes that they really love it. You can tell that they want to make a difference. And I look at it as an extension of Ritedose. Those students are an extension of what we believe every single day. So I would say make sure you do what you love. And if that's academia, that's fantastic. And if it's industry, that's also great. We need it at all different levels.
You were selected as the college's outstanding friend of the college this year. Congratulations.
Thank you so much
for that recognition. What does it mean for you to be a recipient of this award?
It's absolutely marvelous, actually. I love that. I'm not big on awards, to be honest with you. Typically, I'm the wallflower when it comes to awards and being granted awards. But with this one, I feel like it's such an honor. We've been partners with the college for a while, but I think it's time that we can sit back and celebrate what we actually do and not necessarily be the wallflower, right? So to be able to receive this honor is just tremendous. And for us, I'm only as successful as the 600 employees that I've got. And the fact that they come here every single day with that same mindset of pushing the company forward, that allows us to contribute meaningfully to the college. And so I'm super excited to be able to have that and share that message with the college when I receive the award.
One of the things that you mentioned was being able to talk with the students who are recipients of the award. And the scholarship dinner every fall is one of my favorite events, because as you see the excitement in their eyes, you see the passion that they have for what they're hoping to do in the future in working with their patients. Talk a little bit about some of the conversations you've had with students. What did they tell you about why receiving this scholarship is so helpful to them?
Yeah, well, I think that oftentimes we tend to believe that when someone gets to a graduate level classes that maybe financials is not such a big issue anymore. Contrary to that belief, though, a lot of the students that we have sponsored in the past, it's been a tremendous help for them financially. In addition, it takes that burden off. I was the last dinner that we had, I was talking to one of the graduate students we sponsored. Didn't know she had a young child, right? And so this had really lifted a burden from her of being able to sponsor her. And that's not anything that we were actually going after, but to be able to sit there with the student and see that genuine authenticity of how much it impacted them financially and lifted that burden, which made them able to really lean into the fact that she was doing tremendous research on HIV. And I was just blown away at what she had accomplished already to be so young. So it made me feel really good that, we're really putting our money where it needs to be.
What advice would you have for alumni of the college, friends of the college, on why they should consider being supportive of the College of Pharmacy?
I think that the advice I would give is do a little bit of soul searching. My personal mantra is blessed people, and blessed organizations, bless the community. And I feel like, what better way to do so than alumni and friends of the college that have a connection to pharmacy to be able to do that than one through a financial donation like that. But in addition, it also continues to show that, look, we're interested in having the talent that's born and raised here in South Carolina and educated here in South Carolina. There's so many meaningful careers to have here in South Carolina, and we love for that talent to stay close by. And I think being a friend or an alumni of the college and being front and center to see that support system, that's very meaningful to the students that are coming out of the program. They want to continue that same support going forward.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think our audience would like to know about you, or some fun facts you want to share about yourself?
Fun facts is always very interesting. It's one of those things where we have orientation here, and we always go in with the HR folks at the first day of orientation, and we go around, and that's one of the things that we always ask with the new hires is, hey, give us a fun fact, right, or two. And fun facts for me is so very interesting, right? What someone will typically give a fun fact, and maybe they like shag dancing, right? And you have to understand what shag dancing is. But I'll tell you the two that I always go to. I had a spider monkey as a pet when I was age 4 and 5. And
that's a different pet.
That's quite a different pet. And then also I took a year of Japanese at Clemson, and it paid dividends when I started work at Fujifilm.
So you never know what opportunities lay ahead.
You never know. You absolutely never know. It's always interesting to me. People say, well, how did you set your path to become CEO? And I never set my path to become CEO. I really believe that the key to success is being authentic and being the best at whatever job you're given at that moment. And it doesn't matter what that job is. Here at Ritedose, what I speak a lot of, and I try to speak this into existence for everyone, is be the best at what you do. Whether you're sanitizing the filling suites or whether you're a CEO, you be the absolute best. Be indispensable at what you do, because everything that you're touching is impacting that patient.
Jody, thank you for being with us today on the USC College of Pharmacy podcast. It's been a pleasure to learn more about you and about Ritedose.
Thank you so much for having me, Margaret. It was my pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in to the USC College of Pharmacy podcast. You can stay up to date with the latest in pharmacy education and innovation by following us on iHeartMedia, Spotify, and YouTube, where you can explore our full library of episodes. Until next time, I'm Margaret Gregory.